Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news as 7 people have been taken to an area clinic which is now in lockdown. Authorities say that the 7 are at the Mahnomen County Health Center. Sheriff Doug Creer told Valley News Live that an unknown person handed over some cash at the Co-op Pump 24 around 12:30 today. The employee who handled the cash indicated that a substance on the bill made her hand burn. She and 6 other employees were taken and are being treated or checked out at the health center. Creer said that the substance was not fentanyl and that the bill was being taken to St. Paul to be examined. We do have a crew on the way to gather more information, but in the meantime, stick with Valley News Live for updates on this developing story. It may be a case of a jilted lover. In fact, we're told that's what it is. 25-year-old Grant Sartain is in jail for allegedly attacking a house that he thought belonged to someone else. And tonight, Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer has the details on what happened.
We found out about it with this Nextdoor post. Someone said it looked like windows were shot out of a home in the Bluemont Lakes neighborhood, just south of 25th Street in Fargo. So we went to investigate. Here's what we found. The Fargo Police Department tells us the windows on this house were broken, but not by gunshots. Investigators say it could have happened with rocks, or they could have been kicked in. The man believed to have done it is facing a pretty serious charge, felony vandalism. He was also busted with some pot. Officers figured out who it was and tracked him down. As for the victims in this case, they're pretty upset and don't want to talk about it. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
Police say the cost of the damage is estimated to be around $3,000. A scary situation for some in downtown Fargo this morning after a truck went up in flames. Check this out. A pickup on fire around 9:30 on Broadway, just off of 2nd Avenue in front of the subway. Firefighters were quickly called because of how close the fire was to area businesses and other cars. The owner of the truck thinks he may know what caused the flames.
I put a new radio in it last night, so I think maybe the wiring was wrong or something, I'm not sure. But when I opened the door, when I first was on fire, it looked like it was in the dash, so I think it was the radio.
No one was hurt and the truck is a total loss. An elementary school in Grand Forks went into lockdown today. Century Elementary School went into what's called an instruction continues lockdown at noon because there was a parental issue regarding a student pickup. School officials say the issue took place outside of the building and police suggested the school go into the precautionary lockdown. It ended 10 minutes later and school continued as normal. Great weather to start us off on this Monday, but it'll change this evening. Hutch, grab an umbrella tonight?
Indeed, we're undergoing a lot of change today. We started out in the wee hours of the morning with some pretty gusty winds. Look at that, nearly 60 miles per hour in Sisseton, and then temperatures soared to nearly 80 degrees here in the southern Red River Valley. Much cooler air along the international border. Well, we're going to have a chance for some thunderstorms. There is some rain out in the western portions of South Dakota, but the risk for severe or strong thunderstorms will be in the eastern Dakotas tonight, particularly south of Fargo, where you see the yellow outline. That's a slight risk for severe weather. We could see a few storms containing large and damaging hail and some damaging wind as well. The rest of the area, marginal risk for severe storms in the south. As we go through the overnight hours, it's going to be late before these get to taking off. 8:30 or so, 7:30 to 8:30. Moving north and east through the night puts them in the southern Red River Valley by around 9 to 10 o'clock, and then pushing into Lakes Country. But as they move north and east through the overnight, their severe risk drops substantially and temperatures cool. So for your planner tonight, expect temperatures to slip into the 60s for much of our evening. It's going to be late, and we'll have that thunderstorm risk. We'll keep you on top of that right here and online, and I'll have the rest of the details on your terrific Tuesday here in just a second.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Tense moments on the University of North Dakota campus when someone thought there was smoke in the wellness center. The Grand Forks Fire Department showed up and figured out it was not smoke, but steam. There was a broken pipe that caused steam to fill a room. The building was evacuated. Firefighters had the problem under control in just a few minutes. No one was hurt. Police in Princeton, Minnesota need your help finding a missing 46-year-old woman. Police say Tanis Larson was last seen at her home at 2 in the afternoon Saturday. Her family went to a movie, and when they returned at 7 p.m., she was gone. Larson left on foot and did not take any belongings. She has not been seen or heard from since, and authorities are concerned for her welfare. She has a disability that may affect her balance and causes her to walk with a limp. Police say she's religious and may seek out churches. She's described as 5'7", 240 pounds with green eyes and brown hair. She was last seen wearing a dark-colored T-shirt with Bob Marley on it and black sweatpants. She may not be wearing shoes. If you have information, call Mille Lacs County Dispatch or the Princeton Police Department or dial 911. Crews will be closing North 42nd Street at Gateway Drive in Grand Forks Wednesday morning. Crews will be completely redoing that stretch of road from Gateway Drive to University Avenue. The first phase of the project has North 42nd Street completely closed from Gateway Drive to America's Best Value Inn. Traffic flowing from the south will have access to the businesses along 42nd Street up to the closure. The city will be giving updates on changing traffic patterns as the project continues. It should be done by the end of October. Children at Atonement Lutheran Preschool and Child Care Center in South Fargo are learning about big trucks that are a huge part of construction activity. And they're getting to see up close just how big those trucks are and how dangerous it can be in construction zones. Aggregate Industries brought their equipment for show and tell. The folks there want to make sure they emphasize this message that everyone needs to be paying attention driving through those work areas. And you can bet they hope the children will go home and share that message with moms and dads. The North Dakota DOT, by the way, is launching a safe driving campaign this year called Vision Zero, and a big part of its emphasis is on distracted driving. Construction has started at Discovery Middle School. Crews will be working on excavating and backfilling footings and foundation for the administrative wing, entry, and cafeteria areas. The entrances to the gym and current main office are closed off, so you're asked to go through door 27, just south of the current main entrance.
We're looking at expanding our cafeteria and our administrative wing spaces. Oh, absolutely, we needed to expand. You know, a lot of growth on the south side of town necessitates that we, address those needs.
Also, bus lanes will be unavailable for student pickup or drop-off, so you're asked to use the south and west parking lots instead. With the warmer weather, finally comes the melting of ice, making ice fishing too dangerous. And a lot of people are gearing up for open water fishing, but some Minnesota lakes didn't get the memo. The spring is here. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz visits Big Cormorant Lake to find out its fishing status.
Here in Lakes Country, fishing is a big deal.
It is it's one of the biggest, recreational hobbies around here.
But this year's wonky weather seems to have some lakes confused about which kind of fishing they should gear up for.
Last weekend, we had people out driving pickups on lakes. So it's very weather dependent.
And Detroit Lakes bait store owner Matthew Onstead says, with the May 12th open fishing date set, at least one of these lakes might be late to the party.
This lake here has a tendency to be several weeks later than the rest of them to open up, just because of how deep the water is and how cold it can stay.
Actually, every other lake that I passed in the area is pure water by now, including this one, right across the street from Big Cormorant Lake.
Several weeks ago, we weren't expecting it to open up as quick as it has, but now with how much wind we've gotten last weekend, the rain, how warm it is, to break the ice up into smaller chunks.
So it looks like fishers can rejoice for open water fishing season after all. But Onstead says some people still are heading out on the fragile ice, though he advises against it.
It's just like early ice now, where you should wear a life jacket.
And so does the Department of Natural Resources. Even the looks can be deceiving. In Lakes Country, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
In addition to advising against ice fishing, the Minnesota DNR wants to remind you that taking any risks not only endangers them, but also the emergency personnel responding to accidents. According to Otter Tail Lakes Country's Facebook page, 5 lakes were found to be ice-free as of today. One new home is providing support, comfort, and care for families while their kids get medical treatment in the area. A new Ronald McDonald House is opening next week, which will provide more rooms for families with sick kids. The new home has laundry facilities, a playroom, and a fully stocked kitchen. 17 rooms are opening in the home, which the organization says are needed in the area.
We've seen longer stays. We've seen a lot more families that have to travel to town to get that medical care, and that's why we want to make sure that all they have to worry about is helping their child.
An open house is being held this Thursday from 3 to 7 p.m. so the public can see the new building. Today, officials at Sanford unveiled their new surgical robot. Officials say this machine is similar to laparoscopic surgery, and this futuristic robot allows doctors at Sanford to use state-of-the-art robotics to perform the most complex procedures with unmatched precision. And for patients, Da Vinci means better surgical outcomes and faster recovery times.
They have smaller incisions, less pain, shorter recovery, and we're able to do this with this new technology, which is very precise and has some new applications on it that actually make it safer for the patient.
Sanford purchased its first Da Vinci robot in 2002 for heart surgery. Today, the robots are used for many different types of surgeries.